Hey, I'm John, and this is my channel, The Autistic Pro. Welcome. Um, so I'm starting this channel just because I want to bring some awareness to autism and the different forms that it can take and what it might look like in the wild in different situations. And then also, I just noticed that there was maybe a gap in the perspectives out there. And so I wanted to be able to bring the point of view of someone who's worked as a professional and someone who's been on the spectrum. Um, so just a little bit of information about me. I have a lot of experience with ASD. My brother, my youngest brother, was diagnosed at the age of 3, and he's really what you would expect from kind of your stereotypical autistic person, if you will. He he does a lot of the stimming behavior. So one of the things he likes to do, for instance, is he'll start rubbing his hands together and kind of biting his lip, and especially when he's getting very nervous or there's some excitement. That's something that you'll see him do a lot. He's got some very intense interests, like the Vikings, as in the people, um, and you you also, like, there was a phase where he would eat nothing but Burger King chicken nuggets for you know on a daily basis, and he would starve himself unless that's what he would eat. So um, he is 27 now, and he's actually working at a local grocery store in where he lives. And so, he's doing really well, all things considered. And so, I've had some experience with that end of the spectrum. But, at the other end, my experience as someone on the spectrum has been very different. So actually, I was diagnosed at the age of 35 here just recently, actually. And, in some ways it came as a surprise, especially having grown up around it and experienced it, and so I guess in a way it almost made me feel an extra sense of, denial, because this is how it's supposed to look, you know, based on my experience. And, but, the more I explore, I feel very confident about the diagnosis. And so, um, so let me tell you also a little bit about how I got there. So, as a child, um, I always had speech problems, and I was identified as talented and gifted around the age of fourth grade. And so, they'd done some testing, and they found I had a high IQ. And I was always a little too, introverted and quirky and that sort of thing. But not so much that it ever set off any flags for people. And so, growing up, I never really needed any serious accommodations. Um, Actually, ended up graduating high school with honors, and went straight into the workforce. I had decided that I just, was content with being a janitor at the local library. Ended up having my first son while I was working there, just shortly after high school. Um, and then from there, started attending uh, college at a local community college. Graduated with a degree in early childhood education, mainly because the degree options were limited. And while I was in college, I had my second son, and and things ended with their mother, and I ended up getting a job 800 miles away from my hometown in Jacksonville, Florida, just kind of almost accidentally. And so I moved to this brand new town all by myself, and predictably, as someone on the spectrum, I really struggled. First of all, because becoming an elementary school teacher, I was called on to be social, a huge amount of the day, to be the person um, kind of directing things, and so that wasn't a good fit. And then I also, over the years would get have intermittent problems with just with what I know now is just sensory overload, um, and you know some other things that we'll get into throughout some other videos. But basically, I stayed with teaching for 9 years, even though it was incredibly difficult, and eventually got married and went and ended up quitting teaching and starting grad school, and got my master's in mass communications. Started a small business to get myself some experience, and then went to work as a graphic designer, web designer at a consumer goods company, and then to my position now, which is digital marketing coordinator at a real estate marketing technology firm. And so in my current job, I do all kinds of things from setting up partnerships with other companies to designing websites to managing our affiliate program, and just all kinds of different things. And so, this is overall, this job that I have now has been, the best fit by far of any job I've had, um, and has fit my needs so well in a lot of ways. But there's also, as someone who's on the spectrum, there are some things that just, are difficult for me in this job. And so, over the course of the videos I put out, I just like to be able to share some of those difficulties, because I know that I'm not the only one who's had these experiences, first off. And I think it can be cathartic to, know that you're not alone in experiencing this stuff. Um, but also, over the years, I've made so many mistakes in hindsight. And, so hopefully I can help you to avoid some of those mistakes that I've made. And then, um, and then also just to, bring some awareness to what autism looks like I said, because it's so individual, it's so different for me than it was for my brother, than it is for people in all kinds of different walks of life. And so the more perspectives, the more stories we can get out there, the better off I think everybody's going to be, and the more we can create a world where neurodiverse people can thrive. And so I'll leave it there for today. Um, but I want to thank you for uh, tuning in this long, first off, and then also ask you to subscribe and sign up for notifications for my future videos. And thanks for sticking with me, and talk to you again soon.